Hello and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It's time to talk about the second leg of the League One playoff semi-finals. Sorry I didn't do one for the first leg, but I have only just crawled out of crying in a fetal position in the corner of the room. Just been so disappointed with the end of Oxford United's season. And on a side note, if you want to see a little sneaky review of the Oxford United season, it is a big beefy boy of a video, but you can click on that in the top corner right now. But let's have a look at the second leg of these playoffs. A couple of intriguing first leg ties, and we're going to start by talking about MK Dons versus Wycombe. I can't believe people thought that MK Dons were going to wipe the floor with Wycombe Wanderers. It was never going to happen. I never saw that happen in any way, shape or form. They're like a good match play golfer, aren't they, the Chairboys? They are so good at making the game played on their terms. It is unreal. And I've never had a problem with the way Wycombe plays. I'm probably one of the only Oxford United fans that doesn't have a problem with this. We've got some weird chip on our shoulders, but they've been like that for a few years now. Very organised, very structured, very rigid. They play to their strengths, and that's you can't knock them for that. They're not going to play the same way as MK Dons do. They are going to make the game combative. They are going to make it physical. They are going to play direct football and try and hurt you in the ways that they're best at, and that's exactly what they did on this game here. Look, MK Dons started the game very well. They started the game on the front foot, and that was probably their best period of the game, was that opening, I don't know how many minutes, 20, 30 minutes, something like that, until the first goal went in. And they looked very tidy, and they looked like knocking it around. But as soon as Wycombe got the first goal in the game, MK Dons just never really got a foothold back into it. A lot of the talk pre-match was about how good Scott Twine is. This has got to be one of his worst performances in a MK Don, well, for MK Dons this season, his career. For MK Dons this season, it was a very poor performance from Scott Twine when they needed him the most. They actually dragged him off in the second half as well, and it was just a very disjointed game. And unfortunately for MK Dons, they got dragged into a game that Wycombe wanted them to play rather than vice versa. Josh McEachran got 2 yellow cards and got a red card, so he'll be out of the second leg as well. But first goal was from a corner. Tafazoli headed in from a beautiful whipped-in cross by Jacobson. He is such a great player. Such a wand of a left foot. Brilliant ball in. And I felt he was even the MK Dons player didn't even try and tackle him or win the header. He was just had his arms around him, and Tafazoli was able to head in from close range. And from then on in, it was really all Wycombe Wanderers in the second half, really. It felt like it was only a matter of time before they did get the second goal. They hit the woodwork, but then the second goal came, and Sam Vokes, who was a thorn in the side of MK Dons all afternoon. I mean, his quality, that he has played at the top level, and he was the one with the second goals. He's been Wycombe's real talismanic striker this season. He started to play, got the ball out wide to McClary. It was a long ball up to him. He got the ball out wide then to McClary. McClary played the ball back into Vokes. It was a great move by Vokes, started by him, got the ball out, good ball in by McClary, great header by Vokes to make it 2-0. Nothing more than what Wycombe Wanderers deserved, really. And they are the heavy favourites going into this second leg. It's a different dynamic, at MK. I don't know how many tickets they've sold for it. It'd be interesting to see how full Stadium MK will be. I know they've only given 2,000 away tickets, which has annoyed the Wycombe Wanderers fans, but that is what it is. But Wycombe, of all usually you would talk about kind of the difficulties of starting a game 2-0 ahead, and what psychological effect that might have on the players, where they kind of go into it thinking we've got something to lose and got to protect rather than to go out to win. But I don't think Wycombe Wanderers are going to have a problem with that. They're usually the game management side of it is very much their strength. And I don't, even though they said that the last time they were in this position, they did have a bit of a wobble after taking a strong first leg lead into the second leg against Fleetwood a couple of years ago. And Yeah, so I wouldn't expect Wycombe to panic in this mode and get annoyed and get frustrated, and especially if MK Dons even got an early goal, I wouldn't expect Wycombe to Wanderers to panic. I think they'll just go about trying to make the game bitty, do what they did in the first leg, make it awkward, make it confrontational, and just try and get MK Dons out of their rhythm, because they're all about the rhythm of their passing right the way through the team. And if they get that right, they are a bloody handful. And if they do get it right, they can cause Wycombe no end of problems. Remember that MK Dons did win both of the league games between the two sides as well. So you have to think that at some point in this game, these MK Dons players have been too good this season for too long. They will be able to figure a way out around this Wycombe kind of, and I'll use the term, I'm not even going to say it, around the way Wycombe Wanderers play. They'll find a way around it, and they will have a spell in this game where they will keep possession and they will create chances. Trouble is, I can't see them stopping Wycombe from scoring. I do think Wycombe will get a goal in this game. And I just don't think MK will have enough. I think MK will win it, but I think Wycombe will get a goal, and Wycombe will come through the tie and get into the finals. And unfortunately, a great season for MK Dons, but you had that chance to get into second place, and you blew it. You blew it against Oxford United of all teams. So I think the score will be MK Dons 2, Wycombe Wanderers 1, and it means Wycombe go through 3-2 on aggregate. Now we have to talk about this heavyweight juggernaut of a tie between Sheffield Wednesday and Sunderland. Wow, what an atmosphere at the Stadium of Light. An impressive 42,000, something like that, fans packed in there to watch the game. And the noise was exceptional. And you just see how huge these two sides are comparatively to the rest of League One. And you just think, why the bloody hell are they even ever down there? But they are, and one of these sides is not going to go up. Unfortunately, for their fan base, they are going to have to endure League One next season. But it was Sunderland who ended up getting the win in this one. But it wasn't a great game. It certainly wasn't a game that lived up to the spectacle of the crowd and the atmosphere before it. And maybe it was just a kind of the occasion, the pressure got to the players a little bit, but it certainly wasn't a very good game in the first half. Both of these sides have been in very good form, especially, I actually can't even say especially Wednesday. Sunderland have been so solid since Neil has taken over, but Wednesday in this second half of the season have really hit their stride under Darren Moore. And pushed both of these sides kind of did push automatic promotion kind of close in the end. They just kind of ran out of games, but they both did finish the season very strongly. And yeah, it just was flat. It just wasn't very good. Again, like we talked about Scott Twine in the first game, there was a lot of talk around Barry Bannan in this one. I don't think he had a very good game. They brought up he had very few touches in the first half. It just wasn't much football played at all. I think I can only think of like maybe Palmer and Johnson, a couple of good runs down the wings for Wednesday, but not really too much, and not too much in terms of goalmouth action until the very end of the half. And it was really a mistake, really, from Hutchinson at the back for Sheffield Wednesday, where he could have cleared his lines, but Ross Stewart, who's been in great form all season, picked his pocket, ran through and did his best to miss it. Actually, he didn't. It was a decent... he did well. Peacock Carroll got a bit on it to, block the first shot, but it came back to Ross Stewart. He tapped it in to make it 1-0 to Sunderland right at the end of the first half. Stadium of Light going absolutely crazy. And that atmosphere really carried through into the second half. It was a little bit, and this is kind of smaller scale, much smaller, but reminded me of the recent game I went to, Rotherham versus Oxford. You can see a review of it in either one of the corners. I'll put a link up. But first half, very much nervy. Oxford took the lead. Crowd were nervy. Crowd were like not really into it. Rotherham just couldn't get into their stride. Rotherham got an equaliser right at the end of that half, just like Sunderland where they got their first goal. Crowd all of a sudden relaxed, crowd got loud, crowd got noisy, roared their team out, and Rotherham came out in the second half and were a much stronger side. I thought Sunderland were a much stronger side at the start of this second half. You could see how all of a sudden playing in front of this crowd was relaxing the players. The fans were more relaxed. And they really, really pushed for that second goal, but they didn't get it. Pritchard hitting the bar. players coming close with chances from set pieces, but they just couldn't get that goal. And credit to Darren Moore, he did change it up. And at the back end of that game, Wednesday were a lot more comfortable and a lot stronger and could have nicked a goal themselves. So only 1-0 to the Mackems after the first leg. Will that be enough going into this tie at Hillsborough? You have to think, Sunderland will probably be thinking at the moment it's a lead, but will those missed chances and the fact they couldn't get a second goal come back to haunt them? You won't have, such a slender lead, there won't be anything about going out there just trying to protect it or game manage. They'll have to go and try and beat Wednesday at Hillsborough, because Wednesday have got the best home record in League One. They've been so strong there. Not many sides beat them at Hillsborough. But it is a fascinating time. I just cannot wait to watch this game on Monday. And it's such a difficult one. It's such a difficult one to pick. It's a shame that either one of these sides kind of has to lose in the semi-final, really. I think for most people, they'd rather see this one as the final. But what are we going to say? Penalties. I just can't see it any other way. It's going to go all the way, isn't it? Again, I think Sheffield Wednesday will win the game. But I think Sunderland will score. I'm going to go for another 2-1 home win here, which makes it 2-2 after extra time and full time and extra time, which means it goes to penalties. And I'm going to go with, do you know what? We've had them in the league for so long. We never beat them. I'm sick and tired of hearing about them whinging about being down here. Sunderland win on penalties. Sorry, Sheffield Wednesday fans, you can tear me apart in the comments below. It's such a toss of a coin, though. It could go either way, this game. And again, you have to kind of think that possibly the nerves of the occasion might not make it the greatest spectacle, but it certainly will be one where you can't really take your eyes off because there's so much at stake for both clubs. So, yeah, there we have it. I've got MK Dons. I've got Wycombe, Wycombe Wanderers versus Sunderland, which will be the final. So I've got Wycombe and Sunderland going through. Let me know what you think down below. You probably think I'm speaking absolute rubbish, but let me know down in the comments. Hit like if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you like the content. I'll be back soon with more videos. Thank you very much for watching.